Have you ever really stopped to think about how a medicine you take performs this tiny, precise miracle inside your body? It's pretty incredible. So let's dive in and demystify the science behind how these drugs actually work.
I mean, it's a fantastic question, right? How does a simple painkiller know to go after your headache? Or an allergy pill know to stop you from sneezing? It honestly seems like magic, but it's not. It's actually a masterpiece of molecular engineering.
The secret, and this is the core idea for everything we're about to talk about, is something called the lock and key model. Just think of it like this. Your body is absolutely full of millions of microscopic locks. A drug, then, is just a very precisely shaped key that's been designed to fit into one specific type of lock to either turn a process on or maybe shut it off.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with how a pill even achieves its mission. Then we're going to unlock the four main types of biological targets that drugs interact with. Those are receptors, ion channels, enzymes, and transporters. And finally, we'll take a quick look at how this whole lock and key approach is really shaping the future of medicine.
Okay, so let's get right into that mission. How does a little pill achieve such incredible precision? Well, the entire effectiveness of modern medicine really hinges on one core idea: targeting very specific molecules in the body.
That's right. These locks that we keep talking about, well, they're almost always proteins. And even though there are thousands and thousands of different proteins in your body, nearly all drug actions can be traced back to interacting with just one of four major types.
So let's look at our first target. Imagine your cells need to talk to each other. How do they get the messages? Well, they use receptors, which you can think of as the body's little mailboxes.
So a receptor, it just kind of sits there on a cell's surface, waiting for a specific chemical messenger to show up. When that messenger, the letter, binds to it, the receptor, our mailbox, kicks off a very specific action inside the cell. It's all about communication.
So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, take antihistamines. When you have an allergic reaction, your body releases a chemical called histamine. This histamine letter tries to deliver its itchy, sneezy message to the H1 receptor mailbox. Antihistamines work by cleverly plugging up that mailbox so the letter just can't get in. Simple as that. No message, no symptoms.
Okay, next up, we've got the cellular gatekeepers, ion channels. So if receptors are all about receiving messages, ion channels are all about controlling access.
These proteins are basically like tiny, highly selective doorways in the wall of a cell. They open and close to let specific ions, things like sodium or potassium, pass through, which is absolutely critical for things like nerve signals and muscle contractions. And this is a brilliant illustration of their importance. Your nerves fire by opening these tiny sodium gates. An electrical charge builds up, the gate swings open, sodium ions rush in, and zap, a signal is sent. A lot of local anesthetics, like what a dentist uses, work by blocking these exact gates, which prevents pain signals from ever reaching your brain.
So let's just make sure this is crystal clear, because it's a crucial difference. Receptors are like doorbells. They receive a signal and cause something to happen inside the house. Ion channels, on the other hand, are the actual doors. They physically open or close to let things pass through.
All right, our third target type is the tireless workforce of the body, enzymes. Let's just think of these as the cell's tiny factory workers.
Yeah, enzymes are all about action. They grab onto raw materials and either assemble them into something new or break them down into smaller pieces. They are responsible for speeding up pretty much every single chemical process that keeps you alive.
And here's a perfect example we all know: ibuprofen. When you're in pain, there's an enzyme worker called COX that's busy making these molecules called prostaglandins, and those cause inflammation. Ibuprofen works by essentially telling that COX worker to take a break. It blocks the enzyme, production grinds to a halt, and your pain and swelling go down.
And that brings us to our fourth and final major target, the transporters. So if enzymes are the factory workers, transporters are the delivery trucks, moving materials exactly where they need to go. What these proteins do is physically grab onto molecules and carry them from one side of a cell membrane to the other. Sometimes it's just a simple downhill trip, but other times, like with the famous sodium-potassium pump, they have to use energy to actively pump materials against the current.
A really key example is the serotonin transporter, or SERT for short. In your brain, this transporter acts like a little cleanup truck, removing the mood-regulating chemical serotonin from the space between your nerve cells. Many antidepressants, the ones known as SSRIs, work by basically blocking these trucks, which leaves more serotonin available to do its job. So there you have it. We've seen the 4 major types of locks that our drug keys are designed for. So what does this all add up to? Well, it's nothing less than the master plan for all of modern medicine.
Let's do a real quick recap. Receptors are the mailboxes for receiving signals. Ion channels are the gatekeepers controlling who gets in and out. Enzymes are the factory workers making things happen. And transporters are the delivery trucks moving all the cargo. It's a really beautiful and intricate system when you think about it. And this is the most important part. When scientists are trying to find a new cure, they aren't just guessing. They are identifying a very specific protein lock that's involved in a disease, and then they painstakingly design a molecular key that can fit perfectly into it and change how it works.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating thought, doesn't it? This field is moving so fast. Every single day, scientists are learning more about the complex machinery inside ourselves. So as our map of all these biological locks gets more and more detailed, just imagine the new keys we'll be able to design, and all the new doors to health we'll finally be able to